Have you ever got to the end of the month and thought, wow, where did all my income go? Well, if you have, you're not alone. One of the best ways that I've found to counteract this is strong budgeting. In this video, I'd like to go over 3 ways that I found to be extremely helpful in budgeting styles. Before we get into today's topic, if you haven't been to this channel before, I'd like to give you a quick introduction to who I am. My name is Aaron Gertz, I'm 26 years old, and I'm a branch manager of a local mid-sized bank here in Idaho. I have a degree in business management with marketing, and I'm working on an MBA with an emphasis in accounting. I've always been passionate about finance, and that passion's led me to follow a lot of people that are really financially successful. I truly feel like what they've had to say has helped me a lot, but a lot of what they get into is what you need to do to build wealth. And I'd like to focus a little bit more on the baby steps, because building wealth is something that will happen over time, but there's a lot of little things that you need to do in between to help you be successful. A lot of these people that you'll follow that are really successful at finance tell you that the first thing that you need to do is keep your expenses below your income. That's extremely easier said than done. And I found that the most important thing for me to be successful when it comes to budgeting my income is to find something that works for me, uniquely for me. So I've put together 3 different ways that you can budget money. If there's anything that I've learned in my attempts to keep my expenses below my income, it's that to be good at budgeting, you need to enjoy doing it. You need to have a way that's going to make you want to budget each month. One of the key findings that researchers have brought to our attention that make it difficult to stick to a budget is that when you use a card, according to Forbes, you spend up to 100% more than you would with cash. Part of the reason is because when you use cash, you're physically giving something that you don't get back, and it activates the pain receptors in your brain, which you don't get with a card because you swipe the card, they give you the card back, and you get the merchandise. So it's a lot easier for little purchases on a card to build up. I'm not going to tell you to not use a card, but what I think you should do is if you're not going to use cash, ensure that you're tracking each expense carefully, because the little ones are what add up the quickest. So I've put together 3 different ways you can budget. These aren't going to tell you how you need to budget or what categories they need to be into, but hopefully they'll offer a few different styles that you can use dependent to your personality. So I'll give you the 3 examples up front and then we'll talk about them. The first is using a whiteboard. The second is to use an app. And the third is to put together an Excel spreadsheet. The first budgeting method that I'd like to talk about is using a whiteboard. Whiteboards are fairly inexpensive at grocery stores or at superstores, and you can hang them on your wall. And the nice thing here is you've got each category written. You'll have a dollar amount that you've spent in that category. You'll have your goal written out, and you can just erase and fill in the new number whenever you've spent in that category. This style of budgeting can be especially tedious, but is nice if you're visual, because it's right there constantly, and each day you get a reminder of how close you are to your budget. The second method is using an app. Now, if you use an app, one of the best ones that I suggest is Mint. Mint is from the creators of TurboTax and Intuit, as well as Quickbooks, the same group that does business accounting and taxes. So these guys are especially good at tracking expenses. The nice thing about Mint is it tracks everything. You can link checking accounts, credit cards, and even stock accounts up to Mint so that it tracks where your monthly net worth is, where your credit score, and where your budget is. If you'd like something that's going to give you a quick snapshot with analytics, something that doesn't require a lot of effort, Mint is a great way to track expenses. Third, and my personal favorite, is using an Excel spreadsheet. I like to use Google Sheets because you can access it anywhere and on any device, and it syncs automatically. In the Google Sheet version that I use, I've personally created it, which is really nice if you like personal ownership and you want some custom functionality. If you'd like to use spreadsheets but don't want to build your own, there are pre-made templates both on Google Sheets and on Excel, which I'll show in a later video. On my Excel spreadsheets, I have individual columns for each expense, and have created functions that automatically calculate those totals for me. Once I'm done in the month, I can copy and paste into the next tab, which calculates in a pie chart where each of my expenses are proportional to my budget. I also have a running total of bar graphs that show how my spending did, in March compared to April, or in April to June, so that I can see if I'm doing better in some months than others. If you have any other budgeting ideas that I've missed, feel free to put them in the comments below, as well as any ideas for future content that you'd like to see me create. I'll also include my email, and if you have any questions on the content covered today or any other financial questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've had some experience myself in the finance world. I'm looking forward to the next time we meet.